Okay, so we saw Express, or I introduced it. Now let's get down to work, let's install it, and let's make our first simple web app. And I don't want to get your hopes up too much. This web app is going to be very, very bare bones. Basically, will be a website. You hit enter, or you go to the URL, and we just get a single message back saying whatever we want, congrats or hello or something. So nice and simple. But the difference between doing that and then responding with, I don't know, a big, beautiful website with images and big text and animations isn't that much as far as the code we have to write on the back end, which is what we're focusing on now. It's the same idea. You respond with some content. What you respond with, well, that's a different story. Okay, so don't run this. It's a big red letter say, but to install Express, like we've installed Faker, or we installed the MySQL package, you just run npm install and then the name of the package. However, rather than doing this will work fine, it will install. I'm going to show you another way of using npm that's a little bit nicer, a better practice. And it involves running this first command. What does this do? NPM Init creates what's known as a package.json file. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry. Basically, when we make a new project, let's say we're working on a big node project with like a web app, and our web app might have 20 packages involved. So we're only working with a couple right now, but it could have 20 involved. Rather than just installing them individually and leaving no record of what's been installed and what version's been installed, what we can do is create a package.json file. And it acts as like a log file of everything we install. So that if I send my code to someone else across the world, or I post it on GitHub, for example, all that the person has to do to run it is take that package.json and then run a single command, npm install, which will then go find the package.json and install every necessary package. So let me show you an example. This is actually the GitHub repo for Express.js, the framework we're about to install, which is itself, it's a node package, and there's a package.json file in it. And if you look, there's this giant dependencies section. These are all different packages that Express needs. So when we install Express, it goes and installs all of these things as well. So we don't have to do it, right? If this package.json wasn't here, we would have to manually install array flatten and content disposition and cookie. Thankfully, we don't even have to worry about what these do, let alone the fact that they exist. So that's the point of a package.json. It's a way of storing not only the packages that are necessary, but then the version. Because this version of Express might be totally broken if we used 0.6, if that exists, or escape HTML 0.0.3 instead of 1.0.3. So that's all we'll say about it for now. But to actually create the package.json, what I'm going to do is first make a brand new folder, just so that we're working in a different folder, and I'm going to just call this one Join Us. And that's where we'll be building the application. So everything else we've done up until now hasn't actually been building the app. So what I'll do is now cd into Join Us with the terminal down here. And it should be empty if I type ls. We're now in this directory, there's nothing there. So we're going to run this npm init command. And this will just generate a new package.json. However, it's interactive, so it's going to ask us for a name. And what you can do is just hit enter if you want it to just accept what its the default value is. But if I hit enter now, I'll get a message saying, sorry, name can no longer contain capital letters. So let's do join us underscore. Version, we'll say it's 1.0 of our app, that's fine. Description, we can leave it blank for now. Entry point, I like to change to app.js. This is just the name of the file that we're writing our app in, or the main file of our app. We could have 20 files, but what's the start point? Index is fine too, but I'm going to do app. Then I'm just going to hit enter until we're done. You could put author in there as well, and a license. Then you can see the basic text it generates for us, the JSON, which is the data format. And I'll hit enter. Now I have a package.json file up here, and it's ready for us to install things. So now what I'm going to do is run npm install express, but not on its own. I'm going to add -- save, and that will save a record of our install into our package.json. So right now it's not here, but if I do npm install express -- save like that, takes a moment, you'll see, first of all, we have our node modules now inside of join us. So we installed it in this directory, which is good. Then in our package.json, we now have express saying 4.15.2 is our version. And while we're here, why not also just reinstall npm install 2 other packages we need for our app. The first one is faker, and then the second one is MySQL. You can just separate them by spaces and add -- save, and then we'll just add both of them in here too. Not a deal breaker. We already have installed them on this machine, but it's nice to have them in this directory too, and also have records of them in our package.json. So now if I wanted to upload this to GitHub or something and share this with someone, I wouldn't have to, send them the node modules folder and send them the actual express directory and faker and MySQL. I could ignore that because this is the largest part of our directory structure right now. This, I don't know how many megabytes it is, but it's a lot more than this single file or our single app.js file. So it's better to just have our friends or other developers download what they need remotely. So I just send them this recipe that says, oh, by the way, you need these 3 things. Here's my code plus the package.json. Then they go take package.json and they install these things. And the way that you do that, by the way, is running npm install, and you don't add anything afterwards. It will try and install everything in the nearest package.json. All right, so we have Express installed. We don't have an app yet, not even an app.js file, but we have the structure that we need to create the app.